Welcome and good morning to another lovely day here in Northwest Ohio. I just took an hour and a quarter drive to the job site here. Brand new house going up, man. This place here has got a ton of houses seem just popping up overnight. We were here in June to do this one, to the rough-in. That wasn't even there. This wasn't even there. There was nothing on the ground at all. No forms, foundations, anything. My job today is to try to get some trim out some fixtures, set some toilets, slabs. I don't know what they've got done and what they're ready to do and what they're not ready to do. And, ooh, that's lovely. Yeah, that's lovely. Looks like we are gonna do some work today. So I was here before and it wasn't as bad, but it smells atrocious. That's a hog farm over there. And that's what they're gonna have to wake up to every morning when it gets this bad. Should be interesting. Farm life, huh? You can't get away from it. So the builder actually sprayed this himself, and this is definitely open cell. Okay, so I'm not sure what pound density, maybe 1 pound density. In my house, I put 2 pound density, and that way I can have a moisture barrier built in as part of the spray foam. This, you do not get a moisture barrier from what our rep told us. Well, okay, I don't know what I'm really here for then. There's nothing ready to trim out. I'm not saying, you know, I was expecting to trim out stuff. I just thought that's what we were being informed that it was ready, but I might be mistaken. Yeah, I ran this 3-inch. That's how I like to support some the stack sometimes when they go up to the second floor like this. It's not going nowhere. And what we have here is the water closet. That's a 3x4 closet elbow, or reducing elbow, however you want to call that. And that way, I'll show you a bit later, but this is wet venting the toilet and the bathtub through the lav vent. Okay, so we are allowed to wet vent both these fixtures because they're on the same floor, residential bathroom group. So together that makes 5 DFU as a single bathroom group is allowed. But anyways, okay, so I'll show you why I like using a 4-inch reducing L. Okay, this is a 4-inch piece of pipe coming up. The reason I like doing that is because they can bring their tile, their flooring, or whatever right up to the surrounding. They can surround this 4-inch pipe close. Okay, and then what I'll do is I will cut this 4-inch pipe flush with that finished floor, and I can glue my flange inside the pipe without having to try to get glue around a 3-inch pipe, you know, and try to get a flange on the outside of a 3-inch pipe. So makes it super easy. I'm not getting glue and mess everywhere when I can just glue the inside of this pipe and fit the flange inside there. I can't always get away with that. Say if I'm bringing a 3-inch line down directly into a 3x2 T to vent the toilet that way. It's a long story. I can show you on another job. But here we have our kitchen drains. He really coated this whole thing. You get some heat in here, roll it pretty quick. He's even got the... Okay, so he made this entire space conditioned, right? He did not insulate the ceiling, but rather the attic space. So, wish there was some light down in here, but I think he's taking his time on this build. These are my water lines that I was running. I was telling you about. Sump pit, sewage pit. Once our mana block here. Excellent. Look at this. I get to work with some OSB. Yeah. You can never have enough. I don't know why he didn't want to put OSB. I told him to do it, and he did. Good guy. So, this is the underside of that toilet I was talking about. There's a 3x4 reducing L. Love that setup, except for when it drops straight down into a T to vent, I have to run a 3-inch up, which is no big deal. They wanted trunk and branches run to each bathroom, so a bathroom, got a 3/4 trunk, and I got split off into individual 1/2-inch branches, and then individual lines for, what do we got? We got clothes washer, yep, kitchen, hose bibs, half bath hot, washroom. Okay, so I'm really not sure what exactly they want me to do today, but I suspect it's going to involve a lot of these water lines. I'm going to pretty them up around that mana block. It is by Viga. See, it says mana block. I think it's Viga. Yeah, Viga. Viga has always been proven to be a good quality product. They are probably the second most reliable, dependable PEX system. They use PEX B, a little bit different type of crimp, stainless steel crimp ring. Uponor is about the best. So this mana block here, I am not a fan personally, just my opinion, just what I've come to experience over the years of seeing them. The plastic valves on them, they're plastic and kind of flimsy over the years a little bit. You want to be careful not torquing these too tight for fear of breaking them here at this point. Also, it uses a lot of extra pipe. On this little job alone, we're talking 2 full baths, a half bath, kitchen, hose bibs, outside hose faucet, laundry machine, laundry room, 650 feet of pipe. And that is even using a branch and trunk system on the bathrooms. So that's a lot of pipe. I think it just uses too much pipe. Also, you cannot have recirculating hot water system because there's individual hot lines to each fixture. Unless you run individual lines to parallel each hot line run to that fixture. So it takes a long time to get hot water that way, and you can only recirculate it through the mana block. Get hot water a little bit quicker that way. Not a fan at all. I know it's got its, the argument is for you can shut off that line if you got to change a valve or something happened, you just shut off that single circuit. I get it, but that doesn't happen very often. It's not a huge deal when something goes. You have to shut off the whole house for a little bit and then just turn it back on, you know what I mean? First world problems, am I right? Got my stud guards here, nail plates. Okay, there's no stud guards up there. You know why? I know why. It's because the pipe is back far enough in the wall there. It's more than 1.5 inches inside there that I did not put a stud guard. So, whoa, look at a centipede, man. Someone's a fan. Yeah. I'd like to think I helped him buy that. Okay, upstairs time. We got a stack going in through here. It's like a 2x12 on the second floor. That's pretty cool. Make sure I supported these pretty well. Yeah, okay. Ooh, look, a little hobbit door. Check it out, a little cute hobbit door. Except it's not round. Whatever, you get it. It's cute. Man, this would have made spraying foam easy, except I guess that's what happens when you spray it on the underside of something. It gets all bubbly and yucky. Unless that's just the open cell doing its thing. I'm actually glad they didn't quite get everything ready for trim out yet. Because one thing I missed doing, and I should have done it, I know, get off my case, was pressure test the water lines, especially going to the shower valves. So I'm going to do that now while I have the chance, because it was just put off and forgotten. It was just kind of a long story where I had a helper with me, and okay, why is that cap off? Wow, I really hope I didn't leave it like that. I feel bad now. I don't think so. No way. Why would I have left that there? Why would I have done that? Well, it's weird. It's one of those funny feeling sort of things. It's like, did I do that? Did I? I don't know. So this is simply the test plug. Yeah, test plug. test plug for your DeWalt shower valves, just your typical DeWalt Delta shower valves. I will stick that in here right now and use that for my pressure test. Okay? And you save this ring, but that test plug can get thrown away if you don't need it. Truck. So that way I have everything pressure tested down to the tub spout and up to here, which I will plug. I will put my nipple on, bring out so that the drywallers can punch a hole where they know exactly where it needs to be, and I can pressure test it and make sure there are no leaks. Check it out, Ego blower, the old school one. Works pretty good though, apparently. He keeps his job site pretty clean. I respect him for that. He actually went to school on this, I believe, where he will do a whole spray foam on the entire house. And he mentioned something about, and I'm not sure the exact way he does it, but he said he has ECM motors on the bathroom fart fans, exhaust fans, that run all the time. Slow, and they ramp up and they ramp down depending on how much load they need to pull air through the house, you know, just to keep a little bit of fresh air moving through the house if it's too tight of a house. So I found that pretty interesting, but I don't know the science behind it. It's just pretty cool. Really, there really are no building code enforcements in the county that we do work in a lot of. So it's just, you just hope that the general knows what he's doing. You know, that is, what if someone comes in there, just scabs together something and it causes an issue, you know what I mean? So it sucks, but you know, people are happy that they don't have to have permits and inspectors involved, and it's a little bit cheaper to build a house. So what I want to make you guys aware of is the system of PEX that I use. It is called Uponor, and I have a variety of fittings I can show you on how they join together, all that stuff, yada yada. This is the type of ends that they are required to use, and this is the extra strength ring, the collar that goes on the end of the pipe when you expand it to fit over said fittings. Real quick, we're going to get into this. Basically, you cut the end of the PEX square, put your collar over it, okay? These go on one way. They have a little stop that doesn't allow you to push on any further, and also keeps it from slipping back as you are using your press tool, your expander tool on the pipe. Now, I got my fitting ready. This is a reducer, which I will put on a 3/4 inch line to pressure test the system. So let's get to it. And if you notice, I did give it a couple more give it a couple more times to expand, because if you do it only as far as this allows you to go on, expand to that's it, and you pull this out, it isn't quite open and far enough to get your fitting inside. So we'll do it again. Okay, that's as far as I went. If I try to put this in, it's not quite there yet. So give it a couple more goes, and then you're good to go. However, the 3/4 inch side, it's kind of funny, only requires you to get the end of the pipe clear back to the shoulder, and that's actually enough. You don't have to give it another couple tries. It will go in just like that. Another nice thing about the Uponor PEX system is the ability to easily remove the collar. Now, this is the Milwaukee PEX tubing cutter. It's been great for me so far. I've had people experience failures with it breaking here at the casting, or this lock not keeping it held tight, or people cutting themselves on this little bit of blade that sticks out. And that purpose is for cutting the ring, the extra ring on the outside of the PEX A, Uponor PEX A ring. Now, I'm not so sure about this method myself. I was just always went like this, because I could use simple pressure of the tool while it's got on the back side of the ring there, and a little bit of wiggle, kind of work it, And make sure not to go through the pipe itself. You don't need to do that. I will show you why in just a little bit. Okay, there, I popped it off. You see? I've split it, cut it, popped it off. This is probably easier than getting a crimp ring off, I am guessing. This is the stuff that we have used at this shop for the last 12 years, so I haven't touched another type of PEX ever. I'm going to do that one more time here. Kind of work at it. I just feel it's easier doing it this way, there's split already, than attempting to use that little bit of blade and slicing along there and yeah, other issues. So, get this off, give a little twist and shout. There we go. Take your torch or heat gun. I forgot my heat gun at home. Yeah. Oh no, my battery died. I don't have heat in my jacket. First world problems, boo-hoo, I know. Check it out. So this is where the pocket is, and I don't know if this is like the first generation of the Milwaukee heated jackets. I don't have their 12 volt battery in here. I got this. Freaking love this guy. Motion pack in Alberta. Whoa, I stepped in the hole. Anyways, so this one's dead. I keep a spare in here. Love this. Check it out. See the difference? Okay. I'll hold this here so you can read it. The top one is 11.1 volt, or they call nominal 12 volt. The bottom one is 14.8 volt, or nominal 16. So anyways, this one is dead, and this one works perfectly in the Milwaukee heated jackets and in a bunch of other brands. This one, it gives you more output, but you gotta be careful. You gotta be careful because it can get too hot, and I actually was given a set of these by Motion Pack themselves, Power and Motion, and I accepted them, you know. I wasn't obligated to do anything about them. What they did is burnt out my heating elements in my pocket hand warmers. That's the risk you run. So I never let it on high. Medium is getting a little warm, and low is amazing. Turn my hand warmer on the pocket portion on, and it does not get hot in my pockets. So that's the risk you run when you accept free stuff from strangers. distinction should be made between the different types of PEX out there. Type A, B, and C. All we use is type A. Personally, I think I've run into type B once, and that's actually what almost all the other guys around here use is PEX B, and it's an economical choice with the crimp rings, and they seem to be holding up pretty good. The manufacturing process is what separates between PEX A, B, and C. I don't know anything about PEX C, so I'm just going to focus on PEX A and B. PEX A, like this Uponor, is much more flexible than PEX B. So just to clarify, it's the manufacturing process, and it's just how it's made to differentiate between the different types of PEX available. Now with this, we do use the expansion rings. That's type A, and like again, type B uses the crimp rings or those cinch rings, which are junk, and it seems like they fail no matter what the circumstances are, no matter what the water is, city, country, newer, older, poor work, good work. They just are seem like a failure waiting to happen. To clarify, that's the way it's manufactured. The inside diameter of PEX A fittings are substantially larger than PEX B. There's much less flow restriction in these type of fittings than PEX B because this pipe over top of the fittings, whereas PEX B slips over a fitting without expanding it, thus making its fitting that much more narrow in diameter. One caveat with type PEX A is working in colder temperatures. This type of PEX does not like to expand so well. It is a lifesaver having a battery operated PEX tool, but you also have to wait a little bit longer for that same fitting that same joint to press back down on the fitting. It takes a little bit longer, and that's why some guys, I think I mentioned it before, use the Vega, which is second best to Uponor. The Vega system is an excellent system that's proving more reliable than even just those standard crimp rings. So check out Vega if you're already using PEX B and see how you like. And again, that's what the manufacturer I'm talking about right there, Vega. Very high quality products, not just with PEX but also with Pro press fittings, Mega press fittings, and the like. So just a quick primer on the differences between the three. I will say too, PEX is better than copper. Now the reason I say that, because in this area, let me clarify, in this area at least, the sulfur content is off the charts in a lot of these houses. It just depends where you go, but on average, you will not get the lifespan out of copper you will elsewhere in the country. Copper deteriorates away from the sulfur in the water, and you just basically crush it with your hands, rip it out with your bare hands. PEX is unaffected. PEX is also unaffected by different pH levels. There is different towns I have heard about where the pH level is eating away the copper, so they replace it with the PEX, which lasts many more times longer than copper. You know, it's also cool something about PEX A from Uponor. You can get this up to 3-inch and direct bury it in ground. That was pretty epic when I found that out. It's this big Milwaukee machine that expands it. Pretty slow, but you got a massive, very good joint. So 3-inch direct bury. Love Uponor PEX. So many awesome things about it. You cannot not join the pipe together. For Class B, where you are slipping a fitting into the pipe and then crimping it, potentially you could miss one. Although that's a good idea to pressurize the system just in case and check for that. But you can literally not put this pipe on the fitting without actually doing the joint in the process. And as it squeezes down on the fittings, it will get stronger and stronger over time. It's pretty sweet. In one of my videos I mentioned about Class A, B, and I said it's because, Class B is second rate, and I was joking. I knew A, B, and C were different classifications based on the manufacturing process. I was just making a funny. So, just to clarify, but I was just making a funny that PEX B was second rate. It's perfectly fine stuff. It's just, I know what I like. Any of you wondering why I'm so patriotic? America, that's why. But no, really, they didn't have blue PEX. Can you imagine that? They were something about the factory in, I don't know, Germany is revamping their blue line, and that was the easiest to shut down. That's the story I heard. Anybody heard differently? Let me know. Curious to find out. But I wanted 300-foot rolls because we're doing a manifold. So, you know, when I pull one through and, you know, it's 60 feet long or something, I don't have just 40 foot left of a 100-foot roll. I have plenty left of the 300-foot roll that I started with, but they didn't have any blue. So, and we're dwindling down on the supply that we have stocked up. And once this is run through, I guess we're just going to white for cold, and red will stay hot, obviously. So that's the story behind such a patriotic display. Red, white, and blue, am I right? This is going to be the upstairs, and they will have their own individual valves. So that way they're not running through this manifold and having any restrictions. It'll be straight off the water heater and the supply. So good to go on that. Happy how this is turning out. This water supply, the hot water will come down, cold water will come down, loop around underneath, and join into the Navion, where the Navion, it will be a tankless water heater, which will be supplied from the bottom side of the tankless water heater, whereas if you had a tank, it'd be coming from the top. And I would have run from the top and over, except we have Navion, tankless water heater. The best, I think. They're sweet. They're sweet tankless water heaters. So, and that is for the shower valve, which I'm going to go work on right now. Hook it up, pressurize it, see how it goes. I had a question regarding shower valve installations that I do here when you use the copper stub out elbows. So I've sweated in copper stub out elbows, which we use for our toilet stub outs, like that, because they'll be exposed and they come out in the wall. Everything else is PEX. See that come out? That's for our lav. Anyways, I do this because a couple of reasons. First, it allows me to transition from the shower valve to PEX, although I have heard that there are PEX A fittings, ends for the shower valves, and I keep forgetting to get them. But the main reason on that is because the builders like to get their own shower valves, provide what the customers want, what the homeowner wants, so we just kind of let it go at that, and I've been doing this until we get those Delta shower valves. That would be epic. Right now, I do this to transition from the shower valve to PEX, like I said. These come prefabbed with this adapter on already from the factory. And it also gives me a 90, an immediate 90 right at the shower valve. And also the third thing is it supports it better. Say if I were to come off here with a PEX adapter right off the threaded ends, I would then have to make a bend with that in the PEX itself. Well, I don't know, I don't exactly like the idea of having any extra stress this way on the PEX itself, so this supports it way better. It is obviously supported really well underneath this floor here, but that gives you a good idea of why, you know, and I just kind of like doing the solder thing versus taping and paste, using paste both, and then trying to tighten it with an awkward valve like this. I mean, obviously I've done it before, but that is simply my preference. Okay? That's it. Now we're going to go downstairs and pressurize this thing. Now that the PEX rings have had a chance to shrink back on the fittings. That is one thing you do have to wait for. These two shrink back down and get a good grip. Question always is, do I start packing up my tool stuff before? You know, a good pressure test before I know everything's done, before I know, you know, I'm pretty sure we're good to go, you know, everything's good to go. Do I pack up my tools? The answer is always no. No. Come back to bite you every time something happened where you need it. However, leave your tools out, right? Then my solder kit, my fittings, PEX fittings, torch, impact, my hand tools, leave them all out until I know 100% sure we're good, right? Last little bit that I had to do was put these plugs in here. Forgot, yeah, I'm human, but they're in now and we're waiting for them to set up just a little bit before I put pressure on the system. So I'm leaving all this out just in case. Call me superstitious. You guys, you know it's true. That's how it goes. So I want to share with you a priceless bit of knowledge that might save you in a jam if you're working on one of these monoblock systems, right? See, this is the mode of operation, right? You have a stainless steel insert stiffener, Okay. You can get those separately by themselves for these PEX applications when you're using a compression ring, such as this Delrin sleeve right here. Oh, come on. Yeah, this is the Delrin sleeve right there. Okay. And then back behind her you have this sleeve. You push it in all the way. Bottoms out. Right? Well, the bad thing about that is it doesn't seem to work the greatest, because by the time you have this pushed in, when you're tightening down this nut, what it will do is squeeze down on the shoulder of this sleeve right here, down on this Delrin ring, squeeze down on it, it'll squeeze the pipe, and it'll start trying to push the pipe in, okay, instead of sealing up right on this part of the Delrin ring and the mana block. So I always give it a little pushy push, maybe about 1/4 inch, right? So what I've done is advance this Delrin ring with the sleeve behind it slightly forward, and that way that Delrin ring is able to bite into the PEX before it completely bottoms out in the mana block. What can I say? But you're welcome. Alright, let's wrap it up. We have pressure on our gauge. It is holding, so that means the shower valve is excellent. So we're going to wrap things up and head out. Hey guys, hey, check it out, CTLC by Vito. Oh yeah. Put all my loosey-goosey stuff in here that I don't have really any dedicated box for, but goes back on the van in a dedicated spot. And, you know, a few bits and pieces of trash or what have you. And this is empty. So, yep. I am training these handles. You can see I'm training these handles so that when I go to pick it up and put stuff on, they hang out like this instead of like that. So, working out pretty good.
Past what things? That you knocked down one day? That's not good.
Ghost color. I got 80 color pants. Color pants it is. Here's any color pants.